Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi alladhi alafa bil islami bayna qulubil mu'minin wa awjaba ittihada wa harrama tafarraqa fi kitabihil mubin wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah hada man sha'a ila siratin mustaqim wa ashhadu anna sayyidina Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu sallallahu alaihi wasallam wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. Ya ibadullah, usikum wa nafsi awalan bittaqwa Allah ta'ala wa ta'atihi. Dear beloved Muslim, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Praise be to Allah who has united the hearts of the believers with the religion of Al-Islam and has obligated us to remain united and has forbidden us to become separated in his book, that is the Quran, that is most clear. I testify openly that there is nothing worthy of worship except Allah, who guides to the straight way whom he pleases. And I testify openly that Muhammad is his slave servant and his messenger. The prayers and peace be upon Muhammad, upon his family, upon his companions, and upon us, dear people. And I advise you, as well as I advise myself, to have taqwa of God, that is God consciousness, and then thereafter obey him. I'm very, very thankful to Allah to be present this afternoon in this part of the country where I lived for about 5 years, made many, many friends, and I'm very happy to see many of those faces again. I was especially happy to see Haji Dean. We used to have a lot of talks together, and he's always has been enthusiastic, and he's still on the front line. I want to thank the committee that invited us here with hopes that we might be able to share something in this program and that will help stimulate and motivate us to a better ideal of our role, our responsibility in this country in propagating Al-Islam and demonstrating that the Muslim life is a welcome life in any part of the world and is not anything to be afraid of or to be threatened. The President, Dr. Khan, I was very, very happy to talk with him today and meet with him. I had lunch over his house with his family, and we have had just a wonderful experience here. And I can say that Islam, and you can say this, but as a witness myself and traveling a lot, Islam is growing in a very, very big way in America and around the world. It's not anything for us to be ashamed of, nor is it anything for our children to be ashamed of. I am the type of speaker that speaks, I guess you can say, motivational. And I made some notes because I want to stay within the time limit and within the program. But I'm those kind that sometimes just throw the notes out and keep going. But I've made some notes. I did some serious thinking on this topic. Islam in America, this was the theme. And I selected some ayats from the Quran to introduce this topic. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is God Most High in the Quran, in Surah Al-Qaf, or Surah Al-Kahf, the cave. Allah says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Alhamdulillahi alladhi anzala abdihi al-kitaba wa lam yaj'al lahu iwaja. قيما لينذر بأسا شديدا من لدنه ويبشر المؤمنين الذين يعلمون الصالحات أن لهم أجرا حسنا. All praise is due to Allah, who has revealed to his servant the book, that is the Quran, with nothing crooked irregular, or ambiguous, finding a place therein. He, that is Allah, has made it straight, upright, and explicit to warn those who do not believe in it of the terrible consequences of going the wrong way, and give glad tidings to the believers who work good deeds that promote the development of the potentialities of their potentialities and the formation of a balanced community, that they should have an excellent reward. Again in this same surah, Allah says, وَلَا تَقُلُّنَّ لِشَاءٍ إِنِّي فَاعِلٌ ذَلِكَ غَدًا إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ وَاذْكُرُوا رَبَّكَ إِذَا نَسِيتَ وَقُلْ عَسَىٰ أَن يَهْدِيَنِي رَبِّي لِأَقْرَبَ مِنْ هَذَا رَشَدًا. Do not say, this is God, do not say anything that I shall do so and so tomorrow without adding or without saying, Inshallah. And call your Lord to mind when you forget, and say, I hope that my Lord will guide me ever closer to the right road. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man tashabbah biqawmin fahuwa minhum." Whoever mimics a people is from among them. These ayats and this hadith is what we want to understand, the introduction of this talk, Islam in America. And we've already had a very excellent talk by the Mufti on Islam itself and what is Islam. But to say Islam in America, what does it mean today? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has first of all made it incumbent upon us as Muslims to carry this religion wherever we go. You can't leave it on the shelf. You can't leave it in the dresser. You can't leave it in the car on the dashboard where you have a little verse. You have to carry that religion with you on the job, in the school, wherever you are in the society, and carry the religion in a way where it speaks to the dignity of the life of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, not being afraid to demonstrate the beauty and the excellence of this life. Allah has told us in the Quran that this is a book that He has revealed to Muhammad, and there's nothing in it iwaja. I mean, there's nothing in it crooked. There's nothing in it irregular. There's nothing in it ambiguous or dubious that will make you doubtful that it is clear. So we say in Al-Fatiha many times, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim, guide us on the straight way. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. The path of whom your favors, your ni'mah, your blessings has been bestowed upon, not who has earned your anger, nor those who have gone darling, those who have gone off, gone astray. Now when we say that over and over and over again, and turn the page, we find the Surah Al-Baqarah, and it says, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. This is the book. In it is the guidance that you just asked for. But it's a guide for the muttaqi. There's no rayba. There's nothing in it doubtful. Don't even worry about it. Trust everything in it. God loves you, and we should love God. God has embraced us, and we should embrace God. So, when we say Islam in America, two things here. That is present Islam as you see it now, and where is it going? There are people who are observing the movement of Islam in America, just like in the world. And we don't have the time to address world Islam and its impact in America, because it would take more than the time that we have. However, America plays an integral part in demonstrating the excellence of this religion. Time magazine said that of all of the religions that are growing in America, Islam is the fastest growing religion, because they were studying how would it affect world economy when you got Muslims who don't accept interest or riba. How will it affect the banking system? So they were studying this. Now, to a person who is not learned or not studying Islam, it may be baffling to you. But the person who is reading the Quran, as our little brother did, and he said, إِذَا جَاءَ رَسْلُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحِ وَرَأَيْتَ النَّاسَ يَدْخُلُونَ فِي الدِّينِ اللَّهِ أَفْوَاجًا. When comes the help of God? And you see the victory, and you will see that people entering the religion of Islam, afwaja, in clusters and groves. It didn't say entering the religion of Saudi Arabia. It didn't say entering the religion of Pakistan, of India, or Africa. It says, fi dinillah, entering, coming in to the religion. يَدْخُلُونَ فِي الدِّينِ اللَّهِ أَفْوَاجًا, entering the deen of God in clusters and groves. فَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ وَاسْتَغْفِرْهُ إِنَّهُ كَانَ تَوَّابًا. Then celebrate, glorify, praise God, and ask for his forgiveness, for he is oft returning to forgiveness. Yes. Because sometimes it is good that we understand it, because when these people come to this religion, a lot of time we want to take credit. Well, I gave out so many shahadas today. We bringing them in, brother. You ain't brought nothing in. God's bringing these people. God has guided us. God has guided us because God has created faith. He has created faith. And the most fundamental thing, the most fundamental principle in this religion is faith. If you want to see the characteristic of a Muslim, faith. Amantu billah wa malaikatihi. The fundamental principle of the Muslim is faith. So God guided you to the faith. He created faith. We didn't know what faith was. You couldn't identify it if God hadn't inspired you to see it. So we can't say who is a believer and who's not a believer. Allah knows best. Alhamdulillah. So people are observing us from the outside. But how do Muslims look at their rapid growth? Is the individual Muslim, the family Muslim, the community of Muslims? That is, the challenge is to become more responsible for living the Quran and the life model example Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And our growth must be a structured growth. It can't be a haphazard growth. And in that growth, as it is growing, and it is, what is the structure of the Muslim life? What is the structure and growth of the Muslim mind? One way to examine it is, what is the structure and the formulation of the mind now? Because the Muslim has a mind. He's a thinking being. He is not just a person who memorizes and no reflection. Allah said, think, for thinking indeed profits. Reflect. You know, I run into Muslims many times, and they say, Brother Imam, you don't have to worry about that. All of that has been done. There's no need. They have slaughtered ijtihad. They have slaughtered the struggle to know, to understand. They have slaughtered, don't need nothing. Just go through the rituals of life. Just make your ritual prayer, make your ritual fast, do your ritual zakat. Just do the rituals. But my leader, Imam W.D. Muhammad, who I've studied under for now some 21 years, he said once, ritual is that preserves knowledge. It preserves knowledge. You have to look behind the ritual to understand the meaning of the ritual so that you can better explain that to your children. Explain it to those people who come into it. You can't just say, just do that because our prophet did it. There's a time for saying it, but why did the prophet do it? The prophet did it for a reason. So in introducing Islam in America, we have to show that it is competitive. We have to show that Islam is inspirational. We have to show that Islam has the motivating factor, the same thing that opened up the Renaissance for the world. We have to show that Islam has the academia that go into embryology and the study of geology and the study of psychology, etc., etc., etc. Because all of us are contributing to this based on God using us, growing us from this message that's in the Quran. So whoever is responsible for shaping the Muslim mind today will be responsible inevitably for shaping the Muslim community tomorrow. Yes, think about that. So what shape with the Muslim? Will we be a community that is guided? And this is important to understand. Hudan, guidance. Will we be a community in the 21st century that is guided by the Quran? Or will we be guided by textbooks? Will we be a community guided by the Quran? Or will we be guided by government? Will we be a community guided by the Quran or culture? Will be a community guided by the Quran or business? Will we be a community guided by the Quran or traditions and habits? Will we be a community guided by the Quran or will we be guided by emotionalism or modernization? Will we be a community guided by the Quran or a community guided by the media? Because the media is playing a great role now in shaping the thinking of the person, shaping the thinking of the Muslim. Now there are two major influences that shape the life of human beings, that shape the life of thinking beings, that shape the life of their thinking ability. One is how we think in a natural and ordered environment created by Allah is the first. That natural environment promotes peace, harmony, law, order, obedience. The result is a life that grows and prospers under these influences. This gives the human being freedom and responsibility to evolve higher and higher to planes of existence with greater dimensions for social benefit and social harmony. The great potential in humanity is to follow the divine laws of God, that is Allah, who has been provided through his revelation, and it brings about a balanced life, a balanced community. The other way that we would think that shapes the thinking is confused, disordered, corrupt, immoral, and disfigured environmental settings, which brings about misinformation, miscalculation, misdirection of life's natural evolved processes, thereby retarding the human being, retarding the human potential, retarding human excellence. That is a challenge for Islam. That is a challenge for the Muslim. Look at the environment that we're in. Imam W.D. Muhammad said once, he said, we live in what can be termed as an oppressive word environment. That the words of the environment, because that's what you think with, try it. You think with words. That's all. You think with words. You take away your words, can you think? No. You need words to think with. So if I give you an environment of words that oppress the thinking, then your thinking is oppressive. And your thinking becomes reactionary. So many Muslims have become emotional reactionaries. They wait till something to happen, then react. And then after it seems to have subsided, they go back into a cocoon or a cave or what have you. The question I want to ask you today, and I ask this in many places, who is shaping? Who is responsible for shaping and creating the Muslim image in America? Because the image that you are getting now is an image that will keep growing and growing. Who is responsible for shaping that? I asked the question. I said, when the word Muslim is mentioned in America, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Imagine that you are a non-Muslim and the word Muslim is mentioned or the word Islam is mentioned. What comes to your mind? And the person said right away, Farrakhan, black Muslim. I said, what comes next? They say terrorism. Then I asked the person, this is a gathering. I said, what comes next? I was taking a sample, a poll. I said, what comes next? Then it said women's dress, the image of women's dress. Then another said Saddam Hussein in the Gulf War. And then another one raised his hand and said gas stations. I hadn't thought of that, but you know, Muslims are investing in a whole lot of gas stations. I don't know. I don't think it's because we in charge of the oil either. But along with those gas stations comes another image. Liquors, reefer papers, etc., etc. Sacrificing principles that we know that are in direct conflict with the Quran. The selling of hog, the selling of liquors, going after what they term the dunya. I got to make a living. I'm just trying to make a living. I said what you need to stop doing is stop trying to make a living and make a life. Because life comes before the living. And it is God who gave you life. It's God who gave you this blessing that you have now. It's God that gave you your mother, your father, your sister, your brother. It's God that gave you your children. And God says in the Quran, كَيْفَ تَكْفَرُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَكُنْتُمْ أَحْيَاكُمْ ثُمَّ يُمِيتُكُمْ ثُمَّ يُحْيِيكُمْ ثُمَّ إِلَيْهِ تُرْجَعُونَ. How can you reject faith? How can you reject it when it is God who has given you life? And then he causes you to die. And then he brings you back to life. And to him is the final return. Allahu Akbar. Now, I don't want anybody to go from here and say, boy, he really talked about America. No, I like America. And you do too. That's why you're here. America got problems. What country don't? Name me a country now that don't have problems. America problems are moral problems. Quran answers that. America problems have a misplaced ideal of freedom. The Quran addresses that. But what I appreciate about the law in America, the law that runs and governs this country, the Constitution of the United States, it gives me, an ex-heritage slave, able to stand up in America and have freedom of religion. I had a choice to accept Islam. Though I was born into a Christian family, Allah blessed me to come into Islam some 28, 29 years ago. That was a choice, and the constitutional law of America said I don't have to be a Christian, I don't have to be a Jew, I don't have to be an atheist or a thug. I can be Muslim in America. Then it told me I had freedom of speech, like I'm talking now. I got the freedom to do this. If I was in some of these, quote, what we call term Muslim country, they will be arresting me now, and you too for listening to me. I have freedom of press. Freedom of the press. I can print my beliefs. I can print what I see. I can criticize leaders. All the way from the president, all the way down. I have the ability to speak out and criticize them and say you're wrong. Why? Because it's a law. And where that law come from? You think some men just sat together 200 and some years ago and come up with their constitution out of the bottom of their head? No. Imam W.D. Muhammad, Muslim American spokesman for human salvation, just got back from Rome and met with the Pope in Rome. And he was telling us, he said, you know, there in the Vatican, they have a whole Islamic studies department. Got more books in that Islamic studies department than most Muslim countries on Islam. And they have over 150 manuscripts in Arabic from the time of the Prophet. Yeah. And one of the astounding things about it is that the head of that Islamic studies department in the Vatican is an African out of Africa. And yes, they speak Arabic. And yes, they read Quran. And yes, they read Hadith and the fiqh and this. And many of them know it better than the Muslims who say La ilaha illallah. Because they feel that it's enough to say that. But God has made us a thinking creature. God has made us a mindset that we are to help develop the world. You can't be a Khalifa just going through motions. God said, وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. He announced this to all of the angels. Here's my man. This is the Khalifa. But this Khalifa is a person who is able to think, able to reason, able to change conditions. I'm not satisfied with America. I'm not satisfied with the condition in America. That's why I want to learn Islam, learn the Quran, and help make a better situation. So, what do we need? We have to look at what will be the position of Muslims in education. What will be the position of Muslims in government? What would be the position of Muslims in social life, social development? What would be the position of Muslims in recreation? We look at our children, and they get the style of the basketball players and the football players, and the pants halfway down to their ankles and everything, you know, because we haven't set up a style for them. Yeah, we can drive. You go out here. I want you to take a walk when you leave out and look at every name on every car out there. Like we can't make one and put Kareem Enterprise or Muhammad's this and that on it. Industry, economic industry, shipping, aviation. We have to be able to participate in this country because you're free. There's no dignity and just constantly leaning upon someone else and depending upon that. These universities in America need to have Islamic input. You study the university, all of your Islamic studies departments or Oriental departments are headed by either someone of the Jewish faith or the Christian faith. You won't find hardly no Muslim will work under somebody. But you will find that you won't go into the theological department of Christianity and find a sheikh over that department. You won't go to the University of Judaic Study and find a sheikh or mufti or imam over that department. You're going to find a rabbi over that department. You're going to find a learned leader in their religion. And that's good. But God has given us the ability to cooperate. That's another thing that America promotes. It promotes cooperation. We can cooperate with each other and disagree with each other and come back and work together again. But if you have cooperation, you're also going to have to compete. You have to be competitive. One C, cooperation. The next C, competition. And the other C, these are 3 C's I'm giving you right now. The other C is conflict. You're going to have conflict. When you compete, you're going to have conflict. And a lot of time, competition and conflict can be friendly. We have friendly competition in basketball, football, learning this and learning that. The 21st century, just like the 19th century, has thrown people into what one Alvin Toffler called future shock. That there's such a rapid change of things that are happening that it causes the people to go into shock toward the future. Things are happening at such a place in computers, et cetera. It's changing the lifestyle of people so rapidly that they can't keep up. So family life has been shattered. We are going to have to look at the normal family life. This world, this situation is affecting that family life. One statistic is this. They said by the year 2020, or 2030, I forget the exact one, that same-sex marriages will be a common denominator. It'll be common. When I read that, I was telling a group of people, I said, you better hurry up and get married because you might not know what you're marrying later on. And I'm not joking. They got some man, I can't remember his name, they say he looked better than the average woman, above average woman, tall, everything. You know, somebody was asking me on TV, you know who that is on there? They advertising him as a her. Got everything, curves, cuts, designs, everything. So they might have to get more than just a blood test. Yeah. But America presents a life of fun, luxury, good times, especially for youth. And this is where I want to direct this to our youth. If we do not take control of the situation now and begin to come together as communities, you won't have a future that you can call Islam. Because the future is out there on that grass right there. Them youth right out there, that's the future. And what is happening now, Allah in His mercy has called the knowledge of Islam to rain down in America. It's just raining Islam every place. And they can't stop it. No man can get up there and cut the heavens off. When Allah has sent it, you can't stop it. So what does he do next? Because let me tell you something about Shaitan. Shaitan is not lazy. Shaitan is not a quitter. You knock him down, bury him up, you dig up someplace else and he's dead. You got to admire that boy for that. He stays on his job. So what they're doing now is digging out tributaries. So when the water comes down, they've dug out a tributary where it could go and say this will be Islam and this will be Islam. And then we accept diluted ideals of this great religion that has changed the lives of so many hundreds of thousands of people, 1 billion strong in the world. So our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Taraktum fikum ma in tamassaktum bihima lan tadillu abada, kitabullahi wa sunnati." That I leave with you two things. That if you tamassaktum, this word tamassaktum, from masaka, masaka means to clean, like musk. You know how musk cleans to the body, and it takes on the chemistry of that body. Though I have on some musk and you, everyone can put on the same musk, but your own individual chemistry will give it just a certain odor that's different from mine. But it's still the same musk. Tamassaktum means cling to this, what I leave you. And len tadillu abada. This is, those of us that are familiar with Filuq al-Arabiya, len is what is called in Arabic an awamil element that puts that is used in the present tense, that you will never go astray. Lan tadillu abada. You will never stray. And what was that? Kitabullah, the book of God, the Quran, wa sunnati, and my life example, which is called Sunnah. Allahu Akbar. Yes, dear beloved Muslim and people, and I'm talking to all right-minded thinkers, that if we don't begin to fight the cultural trend of bad habits, of violence, sex, drugs, disease, Muslims think because they eat halal food and don't drink liquors, they're healthy, and most of them on their deathbed. Halal means eating everything halal, wholesome life. So the health problems that are increasing in America is because we live at McDonald's and Burger King and Kentucky Fried and Church's Chicken and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. When, Muslim, do we take charge of our own community life and become our own wali for our own business enterprises? God is the God of the whole earth. Khalaqallahu samawati wal ardi bil haqq. That God has created the heavens and the earth in truth. And he said, وَأَنْتُ حِلُّمْ بِهَذَا الْبَلَدِ, that you are a free man. Of the city is translated by one translator, but balad means land. The balad, it means land. You are free in this land, any land you go to, because God has made you free in your soul. And you have to look at America with its guaranteed freedoms of religion, of press, of speech, and etc., and begin to execute the religion properly. Come out of argumentation. I go to so many Muslim communities, and they're arguing, and when you examine the argument, the bottom line is some cultural difference. Some cultural difference. They make such a big to-do. Oh, brother, you should walk with the right foot and the left foot. You should do this, do that. Look, to tell that to a new Muslim, one who just accepted Islam a month ago, now he got to learn all things that you ain't did in 20 years being one. You were born a Muslim, something born a Muslim, ain't did it. As soon as you see one, these are your list of things. The next time they do that to you as a Muslim, how many of those are you doing today? I'm saying this in a light way, but I'm saying it also that we have a more serious thing that's facing us today, and that is Quran. To have that Quran on the shelf waiting for Ramadan is not good. And then have to rush through it or be bored through it. Well, I feel good when this fast. Can't wait. Can't wait till Ramadan is over to get a smoke. Oh, wait till, no, not over, till the sun go down. Ain't thinking about eating, thinking about a smoke. I've seen that. Brother got on me one time after I led prayer, and I did a short surah. I did Shams. And he came to me and said, Brother Imam, during the Ramadan, you can't do long surahs. The people have to eat. He didn't go downstairs to eat. He went outside and smoked. But he's my brother. Just because he's a little weak in the religion, fine. But he's my brother. And that's what we got to understand. Everybody ain't going to be strong right away. So we have weak Muslims, we have sick Muslims, but they're still Muslim. But I don't put the weakest one in the front. I don't go get the sick person or the cripple out of the bed and say we going out and play. I look for the strong men and the strong women, the strong youth, and bring them forward and give that example to the world and say this is the ideal of a Muslim. He's not one to bomb up innocent children, bomb up innocent women. That's not Islam. That's a Muslim who is sick and need to be locked up or killed. Oh, Imam, but look what they've done to us. Look what the Prophet did. That's my example. The Prophet was greatly hurt when Hamza was killed and his body ripped open and Hain tore out his liver and bit from his liver. The mutilation and anger flushed through his system and he wanted to go to battle. And God revealed to him to relent. Be patient. You are the messenger of God. He's a man who obeys God. Because I know if they would have did that, my uncle, my wife, I'd probably do the same thing. It takes a lot of strength to be a Muslim and be peaceful. But that's our nature. Allahu Akbar. Yeah, if I'm going too long, stop me, because I'm ready. I got 5 minutes. Okay, good. I told you I didn't get to, I'm on page 5 of these notes. And I got 13 pages. Well, yeah. The decay of religion in our life, it weakens the kinship ties. And it brings about an extreme contempt by the younger generation for the older generation in their blind, uncritical worship of change. We want to know what's happening to the youth. They have been trained by TV and etc. Look at some of these sitcoms. They don't respect parenthood. They don't respect that. You try to pass on a tradition or something, they snuff at you. Oh, my child, what has happened to him? They ain't your child no more. They just carry your name. Somebody else's mind is in there. You see, I was here once, and a brother told me, I was at his office, and he told me, he said, yes, brother Imam. He said, we have the school, and the children. No, he said, I send my child to school every day, and they carry halal lunch. That's what he told me. It carries halal lunch, so they don't have to eat from the cafeteria, etc. I said, alhamdulillah. I say, but they're eating halal sandwich, but eating unhalal knowledge, which is going to have the greater effect. So we think it's a big thing. Oh, they're eating halal. They're halal. Did you halal it, brother? Yes. Now tell me about some halal textbooks. Tell me about some halal teachers. I can't accept when the teacher comes in half drunk on high or something like that. So what do Muslims have to do? They need their own schools. They need their own colleges. They need their own university. You need your own neighborhood. And who say you can't buy land? I know, I was here in Florida, and I know in other parts of this country, the Hispanics, the Haitians came over here, got their own community. Yes. The Cubans come over here, you got little Havana, little this, big that, etc. Cuban mayor. Yes. So you find this in many places. The Jews, they come down here right away to get some land. You got a Jewish community center for the elderly, etc. A Jewish housing complex, etc. I admire them for that. Because God tells us in the Quran, فَاسْتَبِقُوا خَيْرًا, compete in all that is excellent. And if they're competing and they're building excellent community, excellent school, I applaud them and I thank Allah for them. Now, let's get back to you and me. We make millions of dollars a year as Muslims. There are over 100,000 Muslims or more in this whole Florida area. Same thing in Houston. When I go down to meet with the mayor and them, when I talk to them, the politician, I tell them that I'm representing over 100,000 Muslims in the city. I don't say I'm representing Houston Masjid of Al-Islam, where there are 200-300 members. That ain't nothing. It's something, but it ain't nothing to them. But when I say I represent 100,000 Muslims in the Houston area and all of them vote, well, Brother Imam, let us talk. But then you'll find a Muslim, oh Imam, it is haram to get involved in politics. It is haram for this and that. These are the kafirs, brother. I said, look, you don't know what a kafir is. We call everything and everybody a kafir. This is a kafir country. Then leave. Go straighten it out someplace else. This is a country that opens its doors for competition. It's a country that allows for us to get a degree in science and math and medicine, etc. Now the same person that would be calling the country a kafir, he goes shopping at Extra. He ain't shopping at Kareem's supermarket. No. He's driving the kafir's car, sending his children to the kafir school, and eating lunch at the kafir's cafeteria. Now, I want common sense now. Common sense. Let's be common sense Muslims. God has made us to be able to work with all people. So we have to understand that working with all people means that we're going to interchange in economy and etc. But we have to pray to Allah and read the book of guidance, which is called the Quran al-Kareem, and study the life of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Don't let nobody take your Quran from you. God says, وَلْتَكُمْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٍ يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ وَيَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَيَنْهَوْنَ عَلَى الْمُنكَرِ وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. Let there develop and arise out of you a ummah, a community. Yeah, minkum, from you, all of you. Arabic scholars are here. When you say kum, it means everybody. وَلْتَكُمْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٍ يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ. So this is what God has said. And that means man, woman, child, old, young, tall, short, fat, skinny, brown, black, white, green, whatever. All of us belong to Allah. And we have to work hard to establish this deen here. Because there are people who already have designed where you're going to be, how strong you're going to be. And as long as they can keep us divided, it's hurting. As long as they can keep us divided and keep us separated, arguing, oh, that's the Guyanese community. Oh, that's the Arab community. Oh, that's the black community. I mean, the African-American mosque over there. And that's this mosque. Are you crazy? That's the house of a God. And for you to think that that house belongs to a national group, you have strayed. This is why it's so wonderful. As I say, when I was teaching Juma at Masjid Al-Ansar, I told the community there, this is a complexion. Because you had African-American, you had Caucasian, you had all different people in that mosque at Juma. That's what it should be. It's a Hajj for us. So praise be to Allah. Let us thank Allah for his Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Let us thank Allah for those companions who stood firm behind his leadership and those tabi'uns who followed. And let us thank Allah for good leadership in America today and around the world. I know I do. I thank Allah for Imam W.D. Muhammad's leadership, who was a person born in this country, raised up in this country, and brought the Quran clearly to our mind. So that's that one person like myself who lived in Chicago and fought in the gangs and acted a fool and etc. now can teach the Quran and bring the Quran to the lives of many, many people so that my soul and my spirit can be at ease. So I pray Allah for all of us that we be dedicated in this religion as we move forward into the future. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.